Coach's Corner type show. Have some of the local coaches on, talk to them every Saturday morning about their games. And I don't think it was the first year, but maybe the second and third years or so. I talked the Taylor McGill was in business at that time, had a restaurant in the McGill House, as they like to refer to it now, the hotel that they're trying to restore up on the square. I worked out a deal where we would do our show from their restaurant. Oh. And I'd have the coaches come in and they would have breakfast, and then one by one I'd interview them. And I remember during football season having Clinton's coach at that time, Ron Goodwin, in, and Fred Thompson, who was a terrific coach down at Maroa Forsyth and took his team to state a couple of times back in the early 80s. Bud Maynard would come over from Farmer City Mansfield at that time. It's now the Blue Ridge School District, but he would come over in basketball season. Paul James was at Maroa Forsyth. Jerry Peroka was at Wapella at that time. He'd come in and talk about his Wapella teams while Wapella still had a high school basketball team back then. And then Jerry later was in the Clinton School District. Bruce Bloomer was the coach over at Farmer City Mansfield then. So those were some neat memories, and the coaches loved it. They could get together and they could sit around and they could exchange stories and talk football or talk basketball before they went on the air and talked to me. And so that was kind of a cool thing we did back then, the early 80s, for a couple of years. Right. And they ate free, yes. I worked out a little deal where they could eat for free, and they, that's how I got them there. Believe me, that's how I got them to come. Covering sports is something I just always have enjoyed doing. Kind of ironic that, I did ball games for a lot of years. I remember I did a ball game the night our first son was born. Brian was born on a Thursday morning.
That was Larry on this WHOW 75th anniversary feature.
It's 11 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. Brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. March is National Nutrition Month, and a Central Illinois nonprofit is highlighting its work to offer seniors nutritious meals. Shelley Tolley with OSF Piecemeal indicates in the most recent newsletter they send to their recipients, they were highlighting the importance of nutrition.
Getting out and socializing, even on these, like right now it's going to be cloudy, but this afternoon it's going to be super sunny. Mm-hmm. Just go outside for 5 minutes and soak in that sun. Yeah. It's really important. And then like this month they're talking about berries. And so like berries have a lot of oxidants, like the antioxidants. Mm-hmm. They gave them a strawberry salsa recipe. We give them recipes that go along with the topic. Like this month was microwavable safety, like how to keep your food safe. Mm-hmm. You can't like think that the microwave is going to kill bacteria the way the stove and the like cooking food, just kind of giving them tips on how to microwave their food properly. But then also another component is they bring in outside guests that speak to them about nutrition and health and stuff like that. And then our HGM coordinators like myself, when we're doing assessments and reassessments, we ask them, do you need referral services? Do you need like housekeeping, grocery shopping?
When seniors receive a piecemeal delivered to their homes, they also receive information about the importance of things like hydration. Tolley hopes it helps seniors because nutrition is so important as we age.
What this little newsletter does is it keeps the site supervisors on track, because you can kind of get set in your ways and forget, I'm supposed to be bringing this to their attention. And then the HDM clients, what we do with them.
What is HDM?
So home delivered meals.
Got it.
Home delivered meal clients, on the back of their menu, we put a nutrition flyer on there. So like we'll talk about the importance of hydration. We'll talk about healthy fats. We'll talk about stuff like that. So that way, they're getting information too. And it's something fun to read. Like, the older generation grew up with paper to read, and we've kind of stripped them of that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice for them to have something to look at, something, nutritional education.
Piecemeal offers lunches to seniors via home-delivered meals for homebound seniors or congregate meals at sites across Central Illinois. There is a suggested donation of $3.50 per meal, but Tolly hopes that won't deter seniors from seeking out a meal. Get more information by calling 309-665-5900. A significant project expected to be taken up this summer at Lincoln High School gets its price tag this week. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Lincoln High School Superintendent Dwight Strickland told Regional Radio they're going to be adding women's bathrooms to the sports entrance of the high school.
So basically, if you go across the hall from where the girls' restroom is, we're going to wall off the one part of the home ec room. So as you walk into the home ec room, everything to the right, that's where the new girls' restroom is going to be. And we're going to move those two stations that are in home ec over to the middle classroom and open that up a little bit. So they're not going to lose any of their workspace. We're just going to readjust kind of a classroom to accommodate them. But it'll be a brand new spot for the girls' bathroom. So it'll be nice.
The bids for the project get returned Wednesday. Strickland is hoping those will come in a little less than $500,000.
We have our bid opening this Wednesday, so I'll be curious to see. We're hoping the numbers come in what we're expecting. But with this day and age with construction costs, I keep hearing that costs are starting to come back down a little bit, but we will see on Wednesday. But either way, we probably will still be proceeding with this project because it's something that just has needed to be done for a long time now. So it's going to be nice. We're going to be creating a brand new girls' restroom, get them some more stalls. Because basically when they built these bathrooms back in the day, when they built the gym, they didn't really build them as big as what they should have for the number of people that can be in the gym. So hopefully we're going to correct that now. So that'll be nice. So we'll do the bid opening on Wednesday, and then we have a board meeting on Monday that we'll get the bid approved, and then they will start on those bathrooms as soon as school starts, or as soon as school ends, and they'll be ready before the school year starts in August. I'm hoping to be able to get it done for about $450,000.
According to Strickland, if the bids come in at a reasonable enough cost, they hope to resurface the existing tennis courts on the campus and add a couple of more.
Also we would like to eventually build additional tennis courts here at the high school, because currently we play at the Elks Country Club. And they currently have 5 courts out there, and they need a little bit of repair too. So what we're looking at here is maybe redoing the 3 courts that we have and adding an additional 2, so that way we could just have all tennis matches here. But part of that's going to be kind of dependent on what our costs come in for the bathroom. I'd like to be able to do both, and if costs come in where I think, then we would be able to do both. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. So Wednesday is going to be a big day for us, probably for the following summer. We'll get down to whether it's this summer or next summer. So it's just a matter of not if, it's when.
Once the tennis court project is taken care of, the Lincoln High School Board of Education will sit and reevaluate what is next for its facilities. The district in the last couple of years has made improvements to the building, added turf to the baseball and softball fields, and flipped the home bleachers and press box on the football field to the opposite side, among other sports facilities improvements. Strickland would also like to see turf added to the football field and turf installed on the outfield of the softball and baseball fields. News time is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Tuesday. We've got plenty more coming your way on the WHOW Morning Show.
If you think a new or used car is in your future, the time is now to call the Baum Chevrolet Buick sales team here in Clinton or Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. With a professional sales consultant in your corner, the vehicle search is easy. Meet with our sales team to go over your wants and needs. We'll start the search and do all the legwork for you. With so many models and options to choose from, we can help you get the information you need. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
News time is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. Coverage of news streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Stay with us. We'll also stream our sports to Facebook and YouTube this morning as well. Court cases challenging 2 major state laws are now before the Illinois Supreme Court, but Governor J.B. Pritzker remains confident that both will be upheld as constitutional. after a Macon County judge ruled the recent law banning assault weapons is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court agreed to an accelerated schedule for appeal. Oral arguments are set for May, and the governor says the state expects to prevail.
It's a law in 8 other states. Illinois is simply the 9th. And I think the Supreme Court is going to give it a fair hearing. But I can tell you that all the lawyers and people who are involved in crafting the legislation feel confident that it'll come out the right way.
Oral arguments in the lawsuit against the no cash bail portion of the SAFE-T Act will be heard today. At a press conference on an unrelated matter, the governor was asked about how he thought that would turn out.
I don't expect that they will overturn it. There's no rationale that makes any sense to overturn it. So I'm looking forward to that becoming law.
The law banning assault weapons is also before the Illinois Supreme Court, with oral arguments scheduled for May. Governor J.B. Pritzker is signing new legislation guaranteeing Illinois workers up to 40 hours of paid leave each year. Illinois is now the 3rd state in the nation with such a law, ensuring employees that need to tend to a sick child, go to a dentist appointment, or get their car fixed can do so without losing money or their job. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, who cared for her mother with Alzheimer's disease, says having this paid leave time will help ease the burden when life gets in the way.
When you don't have the space to be fully present and attend to someone's needs, it can feel like you don't have room to take a breath. It's not good for your well-being. It's not good for those you care for, and it's certainly not good for the work that you do.
Senator Kimberly Lightford of Maywood.
That's just simply inhumane. Thanks to this measure, workers have the peace of mind that they can take care of themselves today without worrying about the consequences tomorrow.
The law takes effect next year, and workers will be able to use the time for any reason. This winter has been the 8th warmest on record in Illinois. For weather purposes, winter runs December through February. State climatologist Trent Ford says the average statewide temperature during that time was 33.7 degrees, nearly 4 degrees above normal.
Even though we had that kind of very cold period of time around Christmas way back in December, the warmth, the mild temperatures, I guess I should say, in January and February sort of outweighed a colder December.
Ford adds the average statewide temperature was 33.7 degrees, nearly 4 degrees above normal.
So definitely not record-breaking, but definitely on the warm side. Considering how cold the end of December was, it's pretty impressive.
Ford adds this was the 34th wettest winter on record in Illinois, with average statewide precipitation about 3/4 of an inch above normal. If you're planning a vacation this summer, the Better Business Bureau is offering some advice when booking a stay. Investigator Don O'Brien says if you're leaning towards a vacation rental, watch out for properties that either aren't for rent, don't exist, or are significantly different than pictures.
And make sure that you find a place with a lot of reviews. That's kind of my rule of thumb. My own personal rule of thumb is it has to have at least double-digit reviews for me to even get to look at it, because you can't really fake the reviews on there, that many of them. They do both those platforms have doing a really nice job of vetting their reviews. So if you see a place, especially, if you go to Craigslist or something like that, that's the wild, wild west. There's no vetting of things on there.
He says Airbnb and Vrbo both do a good job vetting their listings. Watch out for the promise of low fees and great amenities, especially if your contact tries to create a false sense of urgency. Lawmakers and the comptroller are seeking a state law to give duty disability to Chicago police officers and firefighters who contracted COVID during the earliest part of the pandemic. For Comptroller Susanna Mendoza, this is personal. Her brother, a Chicago police officer, got COVID before he could get a vaccine and spent months in the hospital and is now permanently disabled, unable to work, and now has to suffer financially.
He contracted COVID on his birthday. I called him to wish him a happy birthday, 56th on November 11th, and he had a cough. 2 days later, he was hospitalized and spent 72 days hospitalized fighting for his life. He lost both of his kidneys during the first week or two of his ICU hospitalization, suffered 5 strokes, and became permanently disabled. He is unable to do the one thing he loved most in his entire life, which is be a police officer.
Duty disability would have given him 75% of his salary and health care benefits. The bill has broad bipartisan support and is expected to pass the House and the Senate. If Congress adopts its USDA's proposed 2024 budgets, would provide help to more than just farmers. Gary Crawford had reports. USDA's ag trade mission to Panama later this month is targeting increased farm and food production sales to customers in the markets of Panama and Central America, Dominican Republic regions. Rod Bain has this quick report. News time is 29 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Tuesday. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. As we come up on 7:30 here on this Tuesday, coverage of network news comes your way next. A look at network sports and local sports comes your way this morning next as well. We've got a preview of the Lincoln High School boys baseball season coming up. We spoke with Coach Augie Kassan recently and previewed his team's upcoming 2023 campaign as Lincoln High School gets to take advantage of new turf on its baseball facility this season as well. So that's and more coming your way in sports. Obviously, a look at the markets, that RFD weather forecast, and Stu Ellis has the farm gate. All that and more next.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. The start of a winter storm with heavy wet snow led to hundreds of school closings, canceled flights, and some power outages in parts of the Northeast. The storm's path included parts of New England, upstate New York, northeastern Pennsylvania, and northern New Jersey. South Korea says North Korea has launched 2 ballistic missiles towards its eastern waters in its second show of force this week. The launches came a day after the U.S. and South Korea began military drills. European markets are mixed after a broad retreat in Asia as investors watch to see what's following the second and third largest bank failures in U.S. history. Shares fell in London but rose in Frankfurt and Paris. On Wall Street, just ahead of the monthly inflation report, the Dow futures are up 244 points. More details at srnnews.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jim Bartow. The Memphis Grizzlies aren't saying when star point guard Ja Morant will return. With 1 game remaining in a 4-game sabbatical, the team said he needed to deal with personal issues. Morant's 5th consecutive game away from the team was a victory over Dallas. ESPN reported Morant has entered a counseling program in Florida. Morant is away from the team after posting a video recently in which the 23-year-old appear to be displaying a gun at a Denver area strip club. Recent gun violence involving college players across the country show the challenge facing athletic departments when it comes to determining how gun laws and regulations should be applied within their programs. The NCAA has no rules or gun policy, calling it a law enforcement issue. That means coaches must follow state law, campus policies, and sometimes tread a careful line in establishing their own rules. This is SRN Sports. A person with knowledge of the deal says quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has agreed to a 3-year, $67.5 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders. The person spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity because the deal can't be announced until Wednesday. The person says Garoppolo's contract includes $34 million in guaranteed money. Garoppolo played for the San Francisco 49ers the past 6 seasons. He played for the New England Patriots for 3 years under then offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, now the Raiders head coach. The NFL's competition committee will consider making roughing the passer penalties and personal foul penalties subject to video review. The 2 potential rule changes were among 9 the league announced Monday in its 2023 playing rules, bylaw, and resolution proposals submitted by the clubs. Joe.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. A young Lincoln Railers baseball team will look to turn some heads this spring. Coach Augie Kassan is very excited about a young group. A small group of seniors this year paves the way for a solid young crop of players to get the chance to make a statement.
We had a very good squad that had some key injuries throughout the year. We had 2 of our middle bats out for it was like 5-6 weeks. Played a good schedule, started off pretty hot. Those 2 guys went down, and then we lost some games in a stretch. We ended the season just a little above 500, fairly senior heavy last year. I think we had 11 seniors, and this year it kind of rolls over to where we have a small senior class with 4, and then the younger guys are coming up through. So it's going to be pretty exciting this year. We got a good group of guys. We got a bunch of baseball players that have, play summer ball. They play a lot of baseball during the season. So it's going to be a good year. Varsity experience with this group, we bring back, I would say, 4 guys from last year and 1 pitcher. So there's going to be some growing pains, but I think these guys have played enough baseball to where they're going to step in and step up.
According to Coach Kassan, a big group of juniors will have to step up this season, and he indicates it's a very versatile group.
Yeah, so we got, from the pitcher standpoint, we got Wyatt Momman. Like I said, he's a junior, high velo guy with, good slider, plus slider. We have a senior catcher, Jaden Ledley. He caught all year last year for me. He is an extremely solid catcher. And, I'm a firm believer you're only as good as your catcher. So he does a great job behind the plate working with our pitchers. We have a shortstop, Trey Schilling, who was out a little last year with a finger injury. He'll be a middle of the lineup bat. He can swing it. We also have Colby Glenn, center fielder, junior. He can swing it, top of the lineup bat, good wheels. Michael Lucas, Jr., second baseman, kind of can play anywhere, pitches as well. And then we have 2 big left-handed first basemen, Jared Evers, Jr. and Brendan Worth, Jr., and both of them can throw it as well. So, and then we'll have some sophomores in the mix in the outfield, be some guys rolling in the infield as well. So it's just going to be finding that, perfect fit that where everything rolls.
Coach Kassan is excited about this team's defense. He likes the outfield speed that they have, and if his team can throw strikes, he likes their chances on a day-in, day-out basis.
The strength would have to be our defense. I mean, we got guys that can go get it in the outfield. We got infielders that are slick, and if we consistently make the plays and don't walk a lot of guys, I think we'll compete in almost every game. I think mostly it's just getting these younger guys reps, getting them in live situations at the varsity level. Like I said, the guys we're returning really, you could say 4 were returning, but a couple of those only started towards the end of the year last year, so they might only have 5 or 6 varsity games under their belt.
Coach Kassan feels his lineup will be as deep as it's been. He's been impressed early with the way his players are swinging the bats, and also hopes his pitchers' early tendency to keep the ball in the strike zone will bode well for this season.
We got a lot of strike throwers. We need to keep our pitch counts down this year just because we want to be able to bring guys back after the allotted time from the IHSA with the pitch count rules. So if we can keep our pitch counts down so we're not burning through pitchers in 4 or 5 innings, I think things are going to go very well. We do play a lot of Saturday doubleheaders. So that means, there's some weeks I think we have 6 games during the week. And I don't think it matters how many pitchers you got with those 6 games. It's going to be tough no matter what. But that's baseball now. So we just got to play the pitch counts. We got to be a little selective of when we throw guys and how we throw guys. And we might have to butt 2 or 3 guys up against each other in a game for 30 to 45 pitches and then roll them back out in 3 or 4 days. The lineup depth I think, is the best it's been in quite a while. We got some guys that can swing it. There's not going to be a lot of holes through our lineup, and what's super positive is 90% of these guys are returning. So it's going to be exciting. They've been working on their swings. They've been hitting a lot of balls. So I think it's going to be a better year up at the plate for us.
Lincoln High School added turf to its baseball and softball complex and gets to take advantage of that for the first time this spring. Coach Kassan praises this group's desire to be outside, even if conditions are not ideal. He notes it takes a really bad weather day to keep his players inside. Get sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Ample sunshine expected today with a high of 40. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, lows dip down to about 25. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 52. Chance for scattered rain showers. Thursday, chance for mixed.
Hello again, everyone. This is Stu Ellis, swinging open the farm gate for you once again today. Well, Mexico's ban on importing U.S. corn that contains biotech traits has drawn the interest of Canada, the third member of the USMCA, the trade agreement that replaced NAFTA. Now, after the U.S. asked Mexico for formal talks last week, Canada officials asked to be included. Now, Canada is not a major corn exporter. They shipped some and last August sent some to Mexico. But Canada is concerned about overall Mexico putting